Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage. It's part 2 of the video that you've probably just watched, and this time we strip off all of the corrosion and under seal from under the car to see how bad the rust and welding situation is. Sorry we had to break this video into 2, but 4K videos take a very long time to upload, so I was never going to do a 1-hour video. But I'll still dress it up, I think. We're not going for a complete underbody rebuild on this car, that's for sure. Well, not at this stage anyway. If anybody's interested in seeing rear suspension being restored to fabulous looking condition, check out Simon on Projects in the Barn. He's doing rebuild on his XK8's rear suspension and doing a beautiful job on making his old components look gorgeous again. But yeah, nip over there if you want to see that. This is not going to be that, it's going to be making it good and usable and sound rather than restoration back to as new, if not better, I would say. I'm giving myself a real first world problem. The car's too high. Can't reach. That's better. This is the outer sill. So you're looking towards the middle of the car that way. So we've got a big hole here. That's one of the fixing points. A bung, 2 more fixing points. This looks pretty sound metal here. But I think the only way we're going to really understand what we're looking at, let's have a look from the inside as well. There we go. Is if I clean this up a little, get rid of the muck and the under seal and the rust, so we can see what we've actually got. Floors look great. It's just this area here where stuff's gathered on top of that bracket. Really has started to look quite grim. Let's try switching my headlight back to, so I've got the diffused LED. Let's go to the spotlight. There we go. Whoa. Yeah, so I've got a point now with my headlight. A little bit more. But the image, both on camera and for real, is great. No, I'm really enjoying this headlight. Okay, let me get hold of some tools to try and fetch these bungs out. Got a couple of tools to give this a go. I can see the back of this one a little bit, so I'm hopeful. Don't want to destroy them if I can help it. There we go. Ooh, a little bit of moisture on that, but if you look up, that looks really clean in that pocket. That's good. Yeah, nothing's got in there at all. Again, suggesting it's the sandwiching of the rubbish and the salt between the bracket and this surface that's done the harm. Let's see if we can get this one out as easily. Oh, it's breaking up a little. That's hard plastic. Again, I don't know if you can see as well as I can, but you can see all the Zintec zinc protected panel in there, all looking rather good. It does appear, let's put my spotlight on my light again. There we go. It might get a better angle for you. Yeah, it does appear it is just this side of the panel. Yeah, I think there's just been a series of really ugly repairs done. I haven't gone quite far enough. Right, I think the next step will be a wire brush, cut brush, whatever you want to call it, to scour this area, just lose some of the underseal and see what we've actually got in terms of metal and how the whole thing's constructed. And we'll look at how we might go about reconstructing it, because this is not a panel that you can buy. So whatever I put there is going to be made of little bits, or I'll have to make my own panel. Intriguing. And this sill, I think, has been overplated rather than something let in. Either that, or it's just, maybe it's fooling me. It's not as bad as I think, and it's just not been finished off very well. Again, I need to scour it all off just to see what's really happening there, and then we'll understand what it is that we're dealing with. Exciting, eh? Now, one of the biggest challenges of doing work like this on the rear suspension or rear floor is the work you're doing is up. So if I'm welding, cutting, grinding, brushing, everything's going to fall down on me. So you have to take extra precautions to keep yourself safe. And I'm not going over the top on this, and I'm not the health and safety expert, so take your own precautions. But what I'm going to do is get a haircut. But I'm also going to take my lamp off of there. I've got lots of goggles and glasses and the like, but for this sort of work, I prefer a visor. So I've got a face shield or visor, but it's going to stop bits and pieces hitting me. I've also going to give myself a dust mask. I do have a much better mask, which has got like screw-on cartridges, but fitting it underneath here is not so easy. So I'm going to go for this. Obviously, you're not going to hear me too well with that on, so I'll just get myself ready. And with this sort of stuff, what I find is if you haven't got it around you in your garage, you won't use it. You won't say, oh, I must stop now and go to the local DIY store and go and fetch some latex gloves or go and fetch some, you'll just crack on. So I do recommend get yourself a little stock of disposable filters, masks, get some goggles, get some gloves, get some gauntlets. You won't stop your jobs to get them when you need them. Have them around you, else you'll cut corners and regret it later. Now I've got my headlight, which I can fit onto my visor. So that's going on like that. And I've got some leather gloves because sharp edges. So I'm going to pop on over my latex. I say latex, they're not. They're nitrile. I go to like an auto jumble, bit like a car boot, or what do you call it? Tailgating session? I don't know, it's not tailgating, is it? What do you call it in the States? People selling stuff out the trunks of their cars anyway, or boots of their cars. I'd buy them from there, you know. Maybe they're not to the right medical standard. I don't care. Cheap as chips, do the job. Hat on backwards. Not for style, just to keep the top of my head a bit cleaner. Visor on. And let's go under the back and clean up a little bit of the rubbish that's under there so we can see better. Okay, so we're starting to find out where the actual metal is and where the corrosion is. We're going to do this, boys and girls. Right, leave me to it for a little bit. So there's the external repair exposed. I've got rather mixed feelings about it. Somebody's made that from flat sheet steel. So bravo, I managed to create the profile reasonably effectively. But they've put it on top of the old metal rather than in the old metal, which is not, you know, it's not a sin. It's I mean, it's a sound repair. As I said, it's just a bit ugly. And it doesn't go up here far enough to catch hold of this. I'm not even sure my repair panel will reach up far enough to catch hold of that. What to do, what to do? Do I repair the repair? So grind back this edge and try and blend it in properly, and then reattach a lip on the back, or do I cut out the repair with some original bodywork and try and have another go myself, letting in a new piece? And remember, I'm not a brilliant welder, I'm a competent welder. I can weld, but welding's an art as much as it's a science. Underneath is equally a bit of a mixed bag, because what we can see is inside the box section is in great condition. So this isn't any more than we can see here. I can cut out pieces of the original and let in new metal. That would be relatively straightforward, and you can do it bit by bit. On the other hand, I could try to locate all the spot welds and try to take the entire skin off, probably cutting it to this edge, because obviously I can't go all the way back up to the top, and make a rather bigger repair panel. But there's a lot of shaping involved, which is a hell of a lot of hammering without press tools. This is ugly, but absolutely solid. So, you know, I could patch up, there's a hole there where it just hasn't ever been any metal. Gap there, a few other bits and pieces, so I could tidy it all up. So yeah, it's how far to go. We've also got captive nuts to think about. You don't really want to disturb the location of them. Feels like here what I could do is cut the skin, because it's at least 2 levels of metal there, and replace a new piece for this top layer. Make up a new piece for there, probably in a couple of pieces. That would repair easily. So again, it keeps coming back to how far to go. If I'm not careful, I'm trying to make the car right, rather than sound. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Okay. Probably going to stop here for a while and ponder. But I'll be very interested to hear from you folks on how you would approach this and how you would approach the outer sill. The outer sill could just be covered back up with paint. It could be dressed, or I could cut the whole thing off and start again. Pro welders out there, anybody who's done this job before? How have you gone about it? Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget, if you would like a Warsun OWL, then all you have to do is send me an email to john@tothegarage.co.uk. Tell me the name given to the style of wheels that is on STEED, the XK8, and there's one. And I will look for the first 5 who get that right and arrange for Warsun to send you one of these free of charge. But, you know, I'm genuinely using that a lot. I've enjoyed everything that I've done with it on and off camera so far. So if you fancy one of these and you've not been one of the lucky 5, check the links in the description below, and you can see what they cost at the moment and get hold of your own. But yeah, thanks very much, Warsun, for contributing a little prize for my subscribers. Loving that. Just cleaned up the suspension bracket. It's a pretty decent nick, if I'm honest. Just trying to break into my Hydrate 80. There you go. If you're following along on Simon's channel, which I mentioned earlier, Projects in the Barn, they're seeing him using this plenty often. It turns out we're both fans of Built Amber products. I'll go through my shelf one day. I must have a dozen of their products on there. Under seals, stone chips, self-galvanizing paints, stuff like that. They're just chemicals. They're really, really good. I've got some of their waxes actually, and body protection and detailing stuff. British outfit, heavy on chemistry and technology, low on branding and marketing, which probably limits how many people know about them, but I don't think they're trying to be auto glim or hammerite. So yeah, brilliant stuff. This is essentially a rust converter that you can use as a high build primer, not on things you want to be body finish, but on things like this where you just want it, oops, smoothing off and to look presentable. But the fact that you're using this means you're giving it the very best chance of not corroding in the future, because it's superb stuff. You just decant a bit into a pot, brush it on. It actually goes a lot further than you imagine, and it goes purple as it converts any corrosion it finds. Wash your brushes out in a bit of water whilst they're still wet, and keep brush for this product, and you're away really. That's about the size of it. You can overpaint it once it's all dried out. So it's not put a painted finish as in a colour, but the way it sets, it does leave the brush marks in it a little. So just, if you want it to be reasonably pretty, just brush it out in straight lines, but it's not a finishing product really. Don't put any unused product back into the container, because if there's any metal in there, it'll react with it and the whole thing will go off. So always decant it so you don't contaminate your original container. These bolts are just to help me handle the bracket. They're not the actual bolts for it, and that's why they're in.